Sushana, thank you so much. Now we have welcome and introductory speech by the President, Mr. Namgyal Khusar, Dr. Namgyal Khusar, Alumni CST Mundgod Golden Jubilee Celebration Organizing Committee. Amjila, please.
Thamalolia, Thomas Samtishli Shiva the Dane, Tarishogan, Zagotol, Pegatolia, Mote Shevi, that under the Ingitolia, Huchochi, Shui. Tashdele, Namaskar, and good evening. Honorable Guest of Honor, Mr. Kayud Dhondup, Chief Justice Commissioner, Central Tibetan Administration. Honorable Guest of Honors, Speaker Tibetan Parliament in Exile, Campus Sonam Tenphel. Honorable Chief Guest, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sangay. Honorable Motive Kalun Education Department, Central Tibetan Administration. Distinguished members of Tibetan Parliament in Exile, all former members of Tibetan Parliament in Exile and former Kalins, and other distinguished Tibetan guests. Our special guest actually today are Mr. and Mrs. T.C. Tetong and family members and all former teachers and staff of CST Mundgod. Our special guests are also principal, rector, headmasters, teachers, staff, and students of CST Mundgod, and also local leaders, parents, media group, and today to all the people who have assembled here, that today on December 22nd, 2016, on the auspicious 50th year anniversary of Central School for Tibetans, Mundgod, I, on behalf of the Golden Jubilee Celebration Organizing Committee and alumni of CST Mundgod, would like to take this opportunity to pay our homage to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, and would like to thank him from the sanctum of our heart for his gracious presence and blessing as our chief guest this afternoon. With its humble beginning in 1968, CST Mundgod is today the biggest CDSA school and has been imparting a quality and holistic education to Tibetan as well as Indian children since its inception. CST Mundgod, as of today, has produced many civil servants for the Central Tibetan Administration, teachers for our CDSA and various other schools, as well as doctors, engineers, artists, and many successful entrepreneurs and farmers as well. Many of our settlement officers and almost all the community leaders of Mundgod settlement are alumni of CST Mundgod. In fact, our guest of honor, Mr. Kayud Dhondup, the Chief Justice Commissioner, who holds the highest portfolio in the Central Tibetan Administration, belongs to the first batch of CST Mundgod. I welcome you here on this auspicious occasion of our school with all of us. I extend our heartiest welcome to the esteemed chief guest, Sikyong Dr. Lobsang Sangay. I am proud to say here that our Sikyong is also an alumnus of CDSA school from Darjeeling. It's our great honor and privilege to have you with us on this Golden Jubilee celebration of CST Mundgod. Let me also welcome Mr. Ngurup Kalun, the Education Department of CDA, who came especially to address the Golden Jubilee celebration. And let me also welcome all the other members of Tibetan Parliament in Exile, all former Kalins of CDA and CDA officials. Please help me with a grand round of thunderous applause to all our Tibetan dignitaries. I also extend our special and heartiest welcome to Mr. and Mrs. T.C. Tetong and their family, who came especially from Canada to join and celebrate Golden Jubilee with us. Mr. T.C. and Tetong perhaps will join with us after some time. Mr. T.C. Tetong was the first representative officer in Mundgod settlement and served as a representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in New Delhi. He was a former colonel of Information and International Relations at CDA. His wife, Mrs. Judy Tetong, also served as the head of DTR Hospital during her stays in Mundgod. The first generation of Mundgod Tibetan settlement and all the senior batches of CST Mundgod holds both of them in the highest esteem, and their presence here has made this Golden Jubilee celebration a more meaningful and a complete one. Thus, please, when they come, please give a big round of applause as well. I also extend our heartiest welcome to our special guests, all the veteran former teachers and staff, as well as present teachers and staff of CST Mundgod. We are also pleased to have you all here as our special guest. You all deserve our great respect, and therefore you deserve a grand round of applause as well from all of us. Apart from these accolades, I, on behalf of the organizing committee, would like to welcome all the other Indian and Tibetan guests and the people of Mundgod settlement and all the people who are present here today. Now let me briefly introduce the genesis of the 50th year anniversary of CST Mundgod. Several years ago, the alumni of CST Mundgod group in Dharamsala came up with the idea to organize this 50th year anniversary of CST Mundgod. We have a 6-member organizing committee with 1 local coordinator, and now with 1 accountant and 1 cashier as well. The education of the Department of CDA, the CDSA office in New Delhi, and the principal of CST Mundgod and the Mundgod settlement officer gave us their support and consent to organize this anniversary. Recently, we also formed a 6-member local core committee with 2 volunteers each from 9 villages under this committee. Funds and donations received for the anniversary were raised by the alumni of CST Mundgod from all over the globe. Our alumni group from New York and New Jersey, and as well as Toronto and San Francisco, Minnesota, Colorado, Belgium, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and France, gave us their full support and confidence in organizing this Golden Jubilee celebration. Some of their representatives are also here as well, so please help me here to welcome them all with a thunderous round of applause. We have 4 main objectives in organizing this 50th year anniversary of CST Mundgod. Our first objective is to pay tribute to our most revered leader, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, on this special occasion. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a symbol of peace, dignity, and religious freedom, and has touched the heart and soul of all mankind by his message of peace, love, and compassion. The 3 commitments and lifelong advocacy of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to improve and promote human values of all mankind through secular ethics, mutual respect, and understanding of among different religious traditions, preservation of Tibetan Buddhist culture, and acting as a spokesperson for the just cause of Tibetan people has set the best model of leadership on this globe. His profound spiritual conviction commands the supreme moral authority, and among all the world leaders, it is the common and collective virtue of Tibetan people that we are blessed and protected under the dynamic leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness has given us a strength to prepare ourselves in the worst of conditions and hope for the best in our freedom struggle. The younger generation are especially blessed with having been nurtured with the wisdom and knowledge of our ancient Tibetan cultural heritage, as well as with modern education, all because of his visionary, exemplary, and dynamic leadership. Therefore, we would like to give our most sincere gratitude to His Holiness the Dalai Lama on this Golden Jubilee celebration of our CST Mundgod. Our second objective is to thank the government of India and its people on this special occasion. Since the time of our exile in life in India, the central and state government of India has been continually kind to our Tibetan people. They have provided us with continuous support and fortitude, with land to grow our crops and vegetables, houses to live in, and ideal facilities for all younger generations to learn our ancient and modern teachings. Our third main objective is to give our most sincere respect and gratitude to all our past and present teachers and staff during this anniversary. Teachers are nurturers for future generations and brings a great changes in students' life. They are role models for the students, a guiding carrier, and a supreme builder of a nation. Although many of our senior-most teachers are not with us anymore, but we take this opportunity to thank them all. Our fourth aim is to give our sincere gratitude to all our beloved parents. Our parents gave us precious human life and groomed us with their unconditional love and care. Our parents have sacrificed all of their time and spent their hard-earned money for the sake of our education. Most of our students of this settlement are fortunate that we always lived with our parents and received their affection during our school life. As an alumni of CST Mundgod, we aim to support the works of the Central Tibetan Administration by helping the education and development of school projects. And to do so, we must set a good example for true Tibetan identity and brotherhood for our future generations. In sum, I pray for the success of the CST Mundgod, that the school may serve as the best abode of learning to produce Tibetan leaders, scientists, teachers, doctors, engineers, scholars, farmers, social workers, and entrepreneurs. Thank you. Long live His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Jai Hind, and Jai Tibet. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Namgyal. Now, I would like to request Honorable Sikyong, Dr. Lobsang Sangay, to present a memento to CST Mundgod, our alma mater school principal, please. Kung Sikyong Cho. I would like to request principal to accept the memento from all the alumni of CST Mundgod. Thank you so much, Tushana. I'd also like to request Sikyong to present one more memento to our parent association who has been backbone to our school. So I would like to request Mr. Tashila to accept the memento, please. Ngazo phama thumi gi tuzo gi chozo Tashila la. We have I would also like to request Sikyong, please, to present a memento to some of our former teachers. So I would like to read out the names, so please. Thongmadila Geshe Lobsang Tienzila. Then we have Mrs. Thalam Dorma. Thalam Dormala. Next, we have Mr. Kayud Dhondup. Mr. Kayud Dhondup, Mr. G. Ishwarya, Mr. G. Ishwarya, Mr. A. K. Sundriyal, Mr. Paramjit Singh, alumni, please. Mr. Paramjit Singh, Mr. D.V. Arjuni, Mr. D.V. Arjuni, Mr. H.V. Prasad, Mr. H.V. Prasad, Mr. Tenphel, Get Tenphel, Mr. H.V. Prasad, Get Tenphel, Game Paldela, Game Paldela, Madam Sonam Chudula, Samucha Darula, Madam Sonam Chudula, Now I would like to request the Chief Justice Commissioner, Mr. Kayud Dhondup, to present a memento to some of our present teachers, former teachers. Mr. N.C. Pand, Mr. Pasang Goke, Ken Sonam Phakdula, Mr. P.N. Pandey, Mr. P.N. Pandey, Mr. Shinde, Mr. Shinde, Mrs. Konchok Ladun, Kim Konchok Ladun, Mr. N.V. Satyakumar, Mr. N.V. Satyakumar, Mr. Sichu Phungkyap, Mr. Sichu Phungkyap, Mrs. Pemal Hanzi, Mrs. Pemal Hanzi, Mrs. Pemal Hanzi, Mr. V. Shekhar, Mr. V. Shekhar, Mr. Ishwaryappa, Mrs. Sonam Needle, Mr. Murup Dorje, Mrs. Sonam Needle, Mr. Murup Dorje, Mrs. Rinjin Dolma, Mr. TPiE Narayan, Mr. P.S. Rao, Mr. TPiE Narayan, so P.S. Rao. Next, Mr. Ramanathan. Mr. Ramanathan. Mrs. Pema Rinzin. Sushan Akula. Now I would like to request Speaker Sonam Tenphel to present the memento. Mr. Benny Korean. Mrs. Chille. Mrs. Chille. Mr. Chosang Punrap. Mr. Singh Topgyal. Wen Lobsang Gyalso. Wen Lobsang Gyalso. Mr. Sanjay Dangwan. Mr. K.C. Chavan. K.C. Chavan. Mr. K.C. Chavan. Mrs. Reshmi Ravindran. Mrs. Rashmi Ravindran, Mr. R.K. Sharma. Mr. R.K. Sharma. Mr. Noble V.S. Mr. Noble V.S. Mr. Chandrasekhar Rathore. Ms. Reena Yadav. I would like to request a wife of Mr. Sanjay Dangwal to accept the present, please. Well, Chamba Chile. Tuchana. Now I would like to request our former Kalun Pema Chinjola to present a memento to our former teachers. Gail Norla, Mr. Norla. Mr. Thak Tsering, Thakju Tsering. Mr. Thakju Tsering. Ms. Kesan Rocker. Next, Mrs. Punsok Dolma. Mrs. Punsok Dolma. Next, we have Mr. Ramachandran. Next, I would like to request the son of Mr. M.M. Singh Soni, late M.M. Singh Soni, to accept the memento on behalf of his father. Di jela Gen dedong so gen doji damdu la gi sanda chodus momento exam nam la shuin. Di jela gen jingme panjo la dedong so gi kunda. Di jela gen tsende gen sewam tobge lagi nangmi yona gen sewam tobge lagi nangmi chonjom la tsende gen sonam tobge lagi sanda 양som 라 페나 양som 라 투세나 공라 투세나 This show they also thanda Sani Mundgod gi Sikyong gui nang gi thanda also tade ngapju thide sungsi chewekabla ani charo nangi thanglang mi chobge jore di indugala ngapju Sikyong re ni ani thanglang re dus page thanda penju chubding gi ngapju kudang ji dusma PiiE di indung ngapju Kayud Dhondup la dus phiru na shuyen Sikyong 당보기 당랑 Sikyong 당보내 당랑 페로시 공까지 들줄라 이제 Sikyong 봐 빼말라 페로시 Sikyong 숨바 조스 페로시 Sikyong 시바 Sonam 스링라 Sikyong 아바 Sikyong 죽바 잠들라 Sikyong tuk바 세발라 Sikyong 개바 후보 스링라 Sikyong 구바 수페나 Sikyong 구바 빼물라 페나 야멜 빠산 도지 페로지 Sikyong 구바 페면 돼 Sikyong 구바 찜이 페르기사라 찜이 페나 Should, oh. Madu sozo namgi kyusala request shuya chila tanda di tenda ge gendi jimba gi kunda depe yasare di indu gala madam Tashila. Next, I would like to request our president, alumni president, Namgye Kyusala, to present a memento to all the present teachers of CST Mundgod and Sambuda Camp number 6 and Sambuda branch. So I would like to read out the name of the teachers. So first of all, we have Mr. C. Ravindran, principal, to accept the memento, please. Mrs. Lakpa Children Rector. Mr. Lakshmikant. Mr. R.K. Sharma, Mr. Rajendra Singh, Mr. Rajendra Singh, Mr. M. Anjanialu, Mr. M. Anjanialu, Mr. Sangram Maharana, Mr. T.D. Zongpa, Mr. Shekhar Babu, Mr. Kunna Ramanaya, Mrs. Salina K, Mr. S. Arumugam, Mrs. N. Shri Lakshmi, Mr. Shashi Bhusan, Mr. Akash Chandra, Mr. T. Kunjap, Mr. Vadyapati Jha, Mr. V.K. Mishra, Suchana. I would like to request Kumamutup Singla, Culinary Education Department to present memento to the present teacher and staff. Mrs. Jyotsna Shukla, Kungla, please. Mrs. Jyotsna Shukla, Mrs. Zongpa, Mrs. Zongpa, Mr. V. Gurumurthy, Mr. V. Gurumurthy, Mr. Mahesh Chandra, Mr. Vipin Mehta, please come fast. Mrs. Kanchan Kumari, Mrs. Kanchan Kumari, Mr. Rigzin, Mrs. Khakyap, Mrs. Khakyap, Mrs. Suman Rawat, Mr. K.B. Pardeshi, Mr. Raviraj Pandit, Mr. S.K. Maiti, Mr. V.B. Gupta, Mr. A. Kishtaya, Mr. Anudeep Singh, Mr. S.S. Kalimani, Mr. Lobsang Sangay, Mr. Lobsang Sangay, Mrs. Lobsang Dolkar, Mrs. Arnapurna Guru, Shri N.B. Ninanve, Mr. J.M. Nayak, Mr. P.G. Mahale, Ms. H.K. Nagamma, Mr. Nagesh H. Wadar, Mr. Yer Swami, Mr. M.S. Mudinkoppa, Mr. Krishna Nagala, Mr. Penpa, Mr. Mr. Prasad Haliawar. Mrs. Chile Yankee. Mr. Chandrasekhar Honali. Mrs. Pasang Lamo. Pasang Lamo. Mrs. Dawa Dolma. Tenzin Matok. Gen Yima Siring. Mr. Praveen Patel. Mr. Roger Jain. Mrs. Dawa Dolma. Mrs. Pema Dolma. Gen Tashila. Warden Tashila. Rinzila. Mrs. Lata. Miss Sonam Somo. Keshe Wangdula. Keshe Kesan Sringla. Kamati Gombo. This is Sewan Chuki. Tuchenagula. The Jela Constitution request now to present memento to those teachers who are demised and also who are abroad. So I would like to request daughter of Mr. Topgel to accept the memento on behalf of his father. Chugila. And again, che de was again Dawat Sringla. Tadring also Tony Marches at the Constitution. Chugila. Samacha Dalna. Sende Topki Lagi wife Payona. Casey Chawan. Casey Chawan. Mr. Ramu. Mr. Ramu. Mr. Ramu. Next we have Mr. K.P. Haridas. Mr. Jason K. Jose. Mr. K.S. Rao. Mr. Ramanathan. Mr. G. Dattu. Di jelang to samboja gegen namla chada pyein di constitution chon rang na na xueyin. Kin nubu ni mala Kin nubu ni mala xueyin na di jelang samboja gegen chon chada pye xueyin. Gen kesan tokala Pheso marwa gen kesan pakto gen string dolma phedak Kesan dongala kesan paktola gen string dromala gen chongal hamula gen phubu dongala Jos Fernanda Ani delek joga Gen tenzin chamje Gen tenzi kesan Gen tenzi yönde Keshi Lobsang dava Selawang mo Tenzi Lobsang Shambang Mudrup Namgel Sering Dijala Yangchi Dogala Samboda Yalagi Geje Yangchi Dogala Ani Delek Pamula Tenzi Putila Kunga Chonde Somi R. Bellary Samboda Ngutu Gege Gensing Dromala Pasal wamula, pasal hamo. Sonam chede. Namgi droga. Sring hamo. Namgi droga peda. Sring hamo la. Chewang samula. Pomot sring la. Pemba putila. Konjo chedula. Now I would like to request School Principal Mr. C. Ravindran to deliver a speech.
Most Honorable Sri Kayud Dhondup, Tibetan Supreme Justice Commissioner, Honorable Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in exile, Rabbi Sonam Tenphel, Honorable Dr. Lobsang Sangay, Sikyong, Prime Minister of the Tibetan Government in exile, Honorable Education Minister, Sri Nodup Serinla, former Minister, Honorable Former Minister, Pema Chinjar, respected Sri Tenphel, Chief Representative Officer, Bangalore, respected Karma and all other settlement officers, respected Dr. Namgyal, President of Alumni Association, Galaxy of Educationists, inmates of different monasteries, dear colleagues, dear children, brothers and sisters of the settlement, and all those who gather here to witness the Golden Jubilee of CST Mundgod. The credit of organizing the Golden Jubilee of our institution, it goes to alumni. With their dedicated and wholehearted works for the last 3 years, now witness the Golden Jubilee of CST Mundgod. The Alumni Association, on this day, they are showing their respect, their gratitude to those teachers and those who are in the present education field. Which they have become they are reached the pause because of the dedicated service of the ex-teachers. Today, the children, they are not having that much problem with the alumni people or your parents when they came here in India. They struggled a lot. They came to school without books, without a proper uniform, proper dress. With much struggle, they got education. But today's children, they are not having that much problem. Their parents are taking care of. The government of India, city of Dharmasala, everybody is taking care of the education of Tibetan children. And the duty of the children or this scenery is to work hard. If they do their best, they achieve something in their life. The President Sikyong, he had arranged so many facilities, so many scholarships for the children. In medical, we have reserve seats. In engineering, we have reserve seats. But sometimes we are not getting candidate for these seats. That seat become vacant. That we have to think about. What the reason behind not getting student for the reserve seat? That means we are not giving that much importance to education. Whatever material wealth we have, the most important wealth is education. The material wealth today we have, it may get lost. But if we have education, nobody can steal, nobody to get lost. So my request to my dear children and parents of the settlers is that we should give more importance to education. With education, they can stand on their feet. They can challenge us the problem of the world. And today's children, they have more responsibility. His Holiness dream, he want to go back to Tibet. That we can do only if the students, they get proper education and they study. Because China, we know, it is coming more powerful. To challenge with China, the only good weapon we have, that is only education. And here, the teachers also, they have much role. But I believe we are the makers and not breakers. We can make the children or we can break the children. Children are like clay. We can mold it in different shape. Whatever shape we want to give it, we can give it, it is there in our hand. We can give the shape of a ghost. Nobody will be worshipped, nobody will be accepting, be hate. If we mold that clay in the size of a pot, we'll be using. On the same clay, if we give another shape, a goddess or God, they will be worshipping. Our children, they are like clay. We have to give proper shape to that clay, so the public, the community, the society, and the nation, they will be accepting it. That's the duty of the present teachers. So we have more responsibility in building the life of the children. So I request all my colleagues, all the teachers, those who are in the field, to give our best for the children so that they will become a better citizen and they can hold the responsibility of Tibet, the forthcoming Tibetan government, and also face the challenges of the world. Without taking much time, I would like to once again express our gratitude to the Alumni Association, the government of Tibetan Government Exile, and CTSA, Government of India, for arranging education to Tibetan children. I request all my colleagues to do their best and parents to take care of the children by believing that the best asset, the most valuable asset, that is education, not the material things. Thank you. Tuchana.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to request our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Lobsang Sangay, to deliver a speech. Sir, please.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Can you hear me? Actually, this is my 7th speech in the last 3 days. So I've been speaking on different issues on the 600th anniversary of Drepung Monastery and the 20 nuns who got Geshe-ma degree, and this afternoon on the anniversary or the golden jubilee of CST Mundgod, and then I had to go to one school at Ganden, so on and so forth. So I'll try to be a little different. First, I would like to acknowledge Chief Justice Commissioner Kajula, Honorable Speaker Sonam Tembela, Education Kalun, former Kalun of Religion and Culture Pema Chinjola, Lochi Chumbela, and Sane Gunzi, Settlement Officer Kamala, and Principal Rabindranji, and the President of the CST Mundgod Alumni Association, Amji Sonamla, and all the former principals and teachers, staff members, and ex-alumni. So on behalf of the Kasha, I would like to extend my heartfelt congratulations on this momentous occasion. So last time I came to CST Mundgod, there was a performance and presentation by some of the students, and someone started with, "My countrymen, lend me your ears." So that reminded me of my school days when I was a debater in school. So I would like to request that lend me your ears for a couple of minutes. Let me begin by thanking all the principals who are here, all the teachers who are here, staff members who are here, especially our Indian principals, teachers, and staff members. Because of your kindness, generosity, and your sacrifice that you have made to dedicate your life for education means a lot to the humanity, but especially to the Tibetan children. And your efforts have borne fruit. As I mentioned this afternoon, the leadership in the CTA, Central Tibetan Administration, are educated in Tibetan schools by you all. And our freedom struggle is alive, our civilization is strong, our culture is thriving, our support around the world is vibrant because of your efforts, for which we are eternally grateful. And I can assure you that if I talk in the context of India, Nalanda University originated in 4th, 5th century, and then it lasted till 13th century. For almost 1,000 years, there was a Nalanda University in India, in the state of Bihar. After the destruction of Nalanda University in 13th century, fortunately, the Lotsawa, the great translators of Tibet, they trek the mountains, the treacherous mountains and forests of the Himalayas, and they crossed over to India and learned Sanskrit, Pali, learned Buddhism, and translated the Buddhist texts into Tibetan. And from 7th, 8th, 9th century, Buddhism spread all across Tibet. On the one hand, the demolition and demise of Nalanda University was a sad chapter in India's history, but the revival of Nalanda tradition back in Tibet, because of the hard work and sacrifices made by this Lotsawa, means a lot, because we preserved a civilization, we preserve a Buddhism. Now, Buddhism spread from Nalanda University all the way through ASEAN countries of Burma, Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Korea, all the way to Japan and Central Asian countries. Up to 13th century, parts of Afghanistan, Xinjiang, were Buddhist. And then it touched the shores of Europe as well. So that was the greatness of Indian civilization or Buddhist civilization. If you read history, it looks as though Hinduism was the domestic policy of India and Buddhism was the foreign policy of India. It spread all across the continent. However, with the destruction of Nalanda University, the decline of Indian civilization happened. India was number 1 or 2 in economy, number 1 or 2 in civilization, number 1 or 2 in military power. But with the decline of Nalanda University, Indian civilization also declined. But we, the Tibetans, the Lotsawas, if 10 Lotsawas from Tibet had come to India in 7th and 8th centuries, only 2 or 3 survived because they had to trek the mountains. Some lost their lives, eaten by animals, by thieves and robbers, and some could not bear the heat of India, they died. But still of the 10, 2 or 3 managed to survive, learn Sanskrit, go back, and introduce Buddhism. So Tibet became a center of Buddhist civilization. Unfortunately, once again, Tibet was destroyed. The Nalanda-based Tibetan monasteries were destroyed in 1950s and 60s. By 1962, 98% of Tibetan monasteries and nunneries were destroyed. 99.99% of monks and nuns were disrobed, sent to prison, tortured, and killed. But under the leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, 80,000 Tibetans escaped to India. And then, from the ashes of destruction, stone by stone, bamboo by bamboo, Tibetans rebuilt monasteries all over India. And once again, the Nalanda tradition, which was destroyed in 13th century, destroyed again by the communist China, revived and thrived in India, particularly in this great state of Karnataka. So in that sense, I often say, we Tibetans are refugees in India, but also we have given refuge to Lord Shiva, who lives on the mountaintop of Mount Kailash. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, I am a son of India because my mind, my brain is influenced by Nalanda tradition. My body is very much a product of Indian dal, bhat, chapati. If His Holiness the Dalai Lama becomes a son of India after 50 years of dal, bhat and roti, perhaps we can say Lord Shiva could be a son of Tibet as well, because he has been eating momos and thukpas for 5,000 years. So his body must have become Tibetan. Hence the exchange of Lord Shiva with His Holiness, Nalanda tradition from India to Tibet back to India, is our gift to India, to this great country, to say thank you. The tradition that you lost, the spirituality that you lost, is back in India because of the hard work of the Tibetan people under the leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Greatness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama need not be mentioned, but he is the greatest master of Nalanda tradition. He is the greatest son of India. He is the greatest Dalai Lama of Tibet, and he is the greatest spiritual leader in this present world. For humanity, he is the light and hope of humanity. For Buddhists, he is the Buddha of compassion. For Tibetans, he is the life and soul of Tibet. Hence, we all must remember his advice, his words, his vision. As per his vision, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when he met Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, then Prime Minister of India, he asked for school first. He didn't ask to rebuild monastery, he didn't ask to rebuild settlement, he didn't ask to rebuild hospitals and clinics. He asked for schools, because for him, the education was number one priority, is number one priority, and will be number one priority. To fulfill his vision, and the Prime Minister of India, you all have, the great Indian teachers and staff member has contributed so much, sacrificed so much which we will never forget. Hence, today I want to thank all of you once again so that we will ever, forever be in friendship, in solidarity. Often I say that Tibetan struggle has to survive. Nowadays, under Modi, Prime Minister Modi's leadership, this campaign for Make in India is going on. But the original Made in India is the Tibetan movement. Because you all have educated Tibetan leaders. The leaders of CTA are educated by Indian teachers. Tibetan settlements and schools and hospitals and monasteries are here because Indian government allowed us. And we follow democracy adopted and adapted from India. And we follow Gandhiji's ahimsa. So from philosophical point of view, the manpower point of view, institutional point of view, Tibetan movement is the original Make in India. Hence, if you succeed, you succeed. If you fail, which we are not going to fail, because we will make India proud, we will rewrite the history again. And one chapter of history will say that Gandhi's ahimsa prevailed, Indian democracy prevailed, Tibetan people in Tibet returned and fulfilled the aspirations of Tibetans in Tibet. That is the return of His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. Till then, we will not rest. Till then, we will be determined. Till then, we will be resilient. Till then, we will resolve and pledge to fulfill the vision of His Holiness Dalai Lama, fulfill his advice, so that once again, Tibetans will enjoy basic freedom, peace will prevail in Tibet, and there will be peace between China and India as well. With that, I'll end my speech. My countrymen, thank you very much for lending me your ears for 5 or 10 minutes. With that, I want to congratulate the ex-Mundgod students for working so hard, preparing perhaps the most lavish 50th anniversary celebration. It looks like you got quite a bit of dollars and euros from all over the world. So from the podium of Mundgod, I want to tell all the ex-students in Europe and America, your dollars and euros are well spent by ex-alumni students here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kung Sikyong, for inspiring words. Central School for Tibetan Mundgod wants to present a memento to Kung Sikyong. So, principal, please. CST principal offering memento to Kung Sikyong, Dr. Lobsang Sangay. Next, school wants to present a memento to the president of alumni, Dr. Namgyal Khusala, and other members. Mr. Jigme Sring. Mr. Jigme Sring. Mr. Yankee. Mr. Guru Nima. Mr. Tenzin Chogyal. Mr. Guru Nima. Mr. Tenzin Chogyal. Ms. Siring Chodron. Ms. Siring Yudin. And myself, Jamyang. Thank you so much. Now we will have a refreshment for a few minutes. So we are going to arrange our tea over there. So I'd like to request all the guests to help yourself over there, as we have to prepare the stage for our cultural program. We have a desk on the left. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello. There lagba yun chola di sabja tongba suruchida. Lagba yun cho shungeso. Then lagba yun la sabja ga shungeso dis tongba suruchida alumni Lobsang number so there lagba yun la shungeso dis tongba suruchi ngazu kunjo number de suja chuyin.